US President Donald Trump is vowing to keep up strikes on Houthi rebels, signaling the start of a major operation that could last weeks. Houthi leadership claims to have retaliated by firing missiles at a US aircraft carrier in the Red Sea.
يعني الآن نحن سنواجه التصعيد بالتصعيد. سنرد على العدو الأمريكي في غاراته، في اعتداءاته، بالقصف الصاروخي، بالاستهداف لحاملة طائراته، لبوارجه، لسفنه. سيشمله قرار الحظر، ومع ذلك أيضا لا يزال لدينا خيارات تصعيدية. فإذا استمر في عدوانه ننتقل إلى خيارات تصعيدية إضافية بإذن الله تعالى.
The Trump administration says the US airstrikes are aimed at preventing the Houthis from targeting international shipping vessels in the Red Sea and warns Houthi ally Iran it could be next.
All options are always on the table with the president, but Iran needs to hear him loud and clear. It is completely unacceptable, and it will be stopped. The level of support that they've been providing the Houthis. President Trump is coming in with overwhelming force. We will hold not only the Houthis accountable, but we're going to hold Iran, their backers, accountable as well.
According to the Associated Press, Houthi officials say the US strikes in Yemen killed at least 53 people and injured nearly 100 others, mostly women and children. CNN's Paula Hancock has the latest.
Houthi rebels claimed this Sunday that they have already responded to US attacks against it over the weekend, saying that some 18 missiles and drones were launched at the American aircraft carrier, the USS Harry Truman. Now, two US officials tell CNN that there have been no injuries, there's been no damage, although it's not clear whether they had to try and intercept any of these launches. It's not the first time that Houthi rebels have claimed this kind of attack. It's also not the first time that the US military has been launching attacks against it. Back in late 2023 is when the Houthis started attacking shipping in the Red Sea and the waters nearby. The previous Biden administration also carried out launches against it. But what we're hearing from the Trump administration is that this time it will be more sustained. We're hearing from the US President Donald Trump that we will use overwhelming lethal force. The National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, also said that multiple Houthi leaders have been killed in these attacks. Now, we did hear from the Houthi-led health ministry. More than 30 were killed, more than 100 were injured. They claim that women and children were within that tally. We've also heard from the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who said that this mission is a favour to the world.
The problem here is that this is a very important shipping lane, and in the last year and a half, the last 18 months, the Houthis have struck or attacked 174 naval vessels of the United States, attacking the U.S. Navy directly 174 times, and 145 times they've attacked commercial shipping. So we basically have a band of pirates, with guided precision anti-ship weaponry, and exacting a toll system in one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. That's just not sustainable. We are not going to have these people controlling which ships can go through and which ones cannot.
More strikes against the Houthis are expected over the coming days and weeks once a damage assessment has been done to see exactly what this series of strikes achieved. Paula Hancock, CNN, Abu Dhabi.
President Trump's decision to launch what he calls a decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi group in Yemen really amounts to the most significant military action that he's ordered since taking office. Of course, the Houthis are the Iran-backed rebel group in Yemen that had been launching attacks in the Red Sea on commercial vessels, warships, interrupting this international shipping lane. And what President Trump is saying is that he will use overwhelming lethal force to achieve achieve his objective, targeting the terrorists' bases, leaders, and missile defenses. So significant action here on the part of the president. You know, the Biden administration also targeted the Houthis in Yemen without a great deal of success in deterring their overall Red Sea strategy. What Trump administration officials are saying is different here is that this will be a more sustained attack, that it won't be a one-off, one-day mission, that it will last days, potentially even weeks. I think it also acts as a threat against Iran, a warning. Remember, President Trump just wrote the supreme leader of Iran in the last couple of weeks, saying that he was ready for negotiations on that country's nuclear program. By taking this step, he appears to be saying that military action is on the table if they don't come to those negotiations. That could be a point of discussion for President Trump as he convenes his national security team here in Florida. Kevin Liptak, CNN, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yemen's Houthi rebels are tonight fighting back against a series of strikes by the U.S. The rebel group claims to have launched 18 missiles and drones at the USS Harry Truman in the northern Red Sea. Two U.S. officials telling CNN there were no injuries or damage to the American aircraft carrier. This is after the U.S. launched a sustained military attack, taking out multiple Houthi leaders. That's according to a top Trump advisor. Joining us now, former NATO Supreme Allied Commander General Wesley Clark. Good to see you, as always. Thanks for being here with us. If these U.S. strikes were meant as a deterrent, how effective do you think it's been and will be?
Well, it doesn't sound like they were meant as a deterrent, actually. When President Trump says decisive, that's what he should be saying. Should be giving the military the instructions to take the threat out. Take it out. So the way you would do it is you tell a commander in the Fifth Fleet, who's in Central Command, what's it going to take to eliminate the threat? Come back and brief us. And then what are the costs and the risks? And then you give them the go-ahead. You don't go tit for tat like this, because tit for tat, they'll go forever on you. That's not what you want. It's not opening up the Red Sea. It's the way that we failed under the Biden administration leadership since November of 2023. Despite their talk about, we really handled the Houthis, they didn't handle the Houthis. So you've got to really go after this in a decisive way. It means striking, assessing, restriking, reassessing, restriking until you set up a tempo of operations with sufficient effect that they don't, quote, retaliate. They just cease operation.
And so if I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like you're saying we should anticipate more that they will, if they're trying to take decisive action, that they will now reassess and potentially strike again, the U.S.
I hope so.
Yeah.
What has to be done on them. Jessica, they're not going to relent. They like what they're doing. They're getting support from Iran. They're getting some reinforcement covertly and from other like-minded groups in the region. They think of themselves as real heroes. And the more we strike and then wait, the smarter they get, the stronger they get, because they're going through a learning process. So they look at this, why do they strike here? Why do the Americans do this? How can we keep them from doing this the next time? What's the right way to conceal it? What did they listen to? How do they get this information on us? So they're learning from us. We don't want that learning cycle. We want to stop this now.